programming later tonight. At 6:30 p.m, it's What's My Old Tap Worth? And tonight, Frank Franklin and the team are in Grantstable trying to flog an Ottoman. At 7 p.m, it's today's highlights from the Sports Board Regionals, presented, as always, by Patrick Bannon. That's followed at 7:30 p.m. by The Club, our harrowing soap opera about a group of poor young unfortunates who find themselves excluded from the Go-Getters programme and their inevitable demise. At 8 p.m, it's movie time, with the network premiere of smash hit Bullet Man 2. And after that, at 10:20, Dr. Adrian Atkinson Blimey returns with a new season of Incisors, and his very first guest is popular parrot Hamilton Squawkbox. At 11:30, it's a double bill for popular transatlantic comedy That Nun's Got Guns. Before at 12:30, we reach the National Weather Report with Sally Peng to close out this evening's entertainment. But first, it's time to hand over to Jeremy, Megan and all the team at the National Nightly News.
Good evening, I'm Megan Wolfe.
And I'm Jeremy Dawson. Our main headlines tonight.
The establishment strikes back. The World Council has agreed today to impose punitive sanctions on the people of this country.
The sanctions, which are broad-ranging, include restrictions on the supply of oil and gas, food, clothing, and even some medicines. But how should we react? We asked the public.
What are your reaction to the sanctions?
What for outrageous? My mom needs insulin. Am I supposed to get her transitioned? What's the government doing about it, eh?
Thanks, Patrick. Important stuff.
Controversial Prime Minister Julia Salisbury attempted to assuage growing public concerns with the following official statement released earlier today.
The international sanctions declared against this country today by the World Council remind us that now, more than ever, we need to come together as a team. Since coming to power, we have eradicated poverty and, as a consequence, seen crime fall to levels previously thought impossible. Our schools, hospitals and youth clubs are thriving, and our transition centres have enabled many thousands to unburden their loved ones with dignity. In any sane world, we would be held up as a model to emulate. Evidently, this is not that world. The privileged few have lobbied, and now they are striking back. But we will not cower before their tantrums. And we encourage other progressive nations of the world to continue to trade, visit, and share their cultures with ours. Do not be afraid. We have more friends than we can count. We are a team, now more than ever. And this team is on your side. Thank you.
Reassuring stuff. But what do you, the public, think of our refreshingly different government? Robin Short found out.
Hi there, Robin Short, National Nightly News. I was wondering if I could get your thoughts on the current government.
I'm not really very interested in politics, really. As Mother always said, leave politics to the politicians, Malcolm.
A Flard day's night. Following the release of the Flardmaster 5000, production of Flards are at an all-time high, requiring the new manufacturing facility in Grizzleford to move to 24-hour-a-day production.
With people finding more and more uses for the ever-versatile Flard, the team at Remington Cyst certainly have their hands full keeping up with demand.
So, is there anything better than a handful of Flards? We asked Patrick to find out. Patrick?
Do you have an opinion of Flards at all?
Oh my god, I love Flards, doesn't everyone? Do you even remember when we didn't have Flards and we had to rely on verbs? Oh, I'd never go back.
Pipers at the gates of dawn. Commuters in the capital this morning found themselves surprised and amused by the latest stunt from popular pressure group Disrupt.
Silent protests were held outside underground stations throughout the capital, bringing a pleasantly surreal quality to the morning commute.
Unless, like me, you have a phobia of mimes.
But how do we, as a country, really feel about Disrupt? Robin?
Do you have any feelings about Disrupt?
It's all a bit noisy for me, really. As Mother always said, leave the rebelling to the rebels, Malcolm.
Bubbling up, intrepid scientist Dr. David Wong and Dr. Ingrid Svorsborg-Hawkinsford today sent a blueprint of the escape craft in which they hope to finally leave Dante's taint.
With expert opinions of the plan running the gamut from optimistically engineered to that looks like something my granddad made in his shed, it sounds like the unfortunate team are going to need all the thoughts and prayers they can get.
So what should we think about the escape plan? Patrick Bannon again.
Dare I ask you about the blueprints?
Well, mate, I've never been a submarine engineer, but I have tinkered with a few motors in my time, and I can tell you that thing is not going to work. I'd rather trust my life to Uncle Pat. And I murdered him 10 years ago.
Oh, what? It's because you're joking. It's funny. Are you...
I am not a number. Applications finally opened today for the new Advanced Team Membership Cards, a scheme by the government to allow fast access to all the new public services being introduced daily.
The team membership cards are entirely voluntary, but will be recognised as legal identification by all major organisations, including the police, banks and, vitally, pubs and bars.
And of course, there's no charge, Jeremy.
It all seems too good to be true.
Well, you've always been a cynic. But most importantly, what should you, the public, think about the new team membership cards?
Team membership cards?
Absolutely bloody not. It's the thin end of the wedge, isn't it, Iris? First it's, can I see your identification, sir? And then it's, would you mind bending over the table, sir? So Sergeant State Educated and Constable Regional Accent here can stick their truncheon up your derriere.
Oh, crikey!
They should call them what they are. They're bloody ID cards. Oh, for Christ's sake, what is it, Iris?
Oh, I'm really not happy, Algernon! I'm so sorry. Crikey.
And finally tonight, getting stuck in a shameless attempt to cash in on his bad boy status, shamed celebrity Johnny Hamsleeves announced a new line of real ale at a press conference earlier today.
The new brew, entitled Headbutt Ale in reference to his controversies of last year, promises a night you'll pretend you regret.
Or possibly a night you'll pretend you remember.
So what should we all think of Johnny's latest attempt to market his notoriety? Patrick?
Oh my God, fantastic!
Your thoughts there?
Later tonight, in a break from our usual responsibilities, Jeremy will be taking popular rapper Jesus to task over his street credibility. And then we'll both be meeting the team behind the new play that's got theatre critics buzzing with anticipation.
That's all coming up on tonight's
National Nightly News.
First tonight, let's return to our main story.
With the shine coming off Advance's popularity,
And the honeymoon period pretty much over.
the National Nightly News has spared no expense in bringing you the response to today's sanctions from across the continent.
Joining us to help digest this shocking development are Prime Minister Peter Clement from his home in Lancashire.
Good evening, Jeremy.
And from Urkistan, Foreign Minister Ivan Vodovich.
It's a great pleasure. Miss Wolf, you're like...
And from Svenland, Minister of Mojo, Björk.
Hey, everybody.
Minister Vodovich, your country pushed especially hard for these sanctions. Any regrets?
My only regret is I was not able to see the face of my old friend Peter Clements when the results of the vote were announced. As you say, he has one up in your bottoms.
In Svenland, we try not to gloat, actually, because it's seen as really ugly and dangerous to some small creatures, yeah?
Oh, don't worry, Minister. Ivan and I go way back. He's a wind-up merchant who can't for shite. He's just trying to get a rise out of me.
You're like a man who load dissidents onto train to labor camp, not because of love of country, but to make up for size of his tiny penis.
Been on the vodka, Ivan?
No more than you. I see you on election night with mouth like man thinks he's singing beautiful lullaby. But actually he's squealing like a pig in hands of the big dick farmer, eh?
Actually, we Svenlandians, we aren't size obsessed. We value passion, yeah? Like the way we spoke up for Mr. Clements' country at the World Council.
That's all well and good. And high and mighty, but where were you for the actual vote, then? Off fingering each other's fjords?
Actually, that's kind of racist. And if you must know, I've had like a really tiring afternoon and my tongue is very sore.
Prime Minister, with Advance's popularity on the wane...
You don't have to bring that up at every given opportunity, you know.
Peter is like man who think he's sniffing flowers in beautiful glade. But he's actually standing on the pipe from at shit flushing time, on day of festival of shit. I tell him this at 19th hole.
Minister Vodovich believes that left to their own devices, people will behave selfishly.
It's nature of all beasts.
However, in this country, we think our citizens are capable of being more than beasts.
Pathetic idealism.
Minister Björk, Svenland has long had radically different traditions and culture from the rest of the world, and yet it peacefully coexists. Why do you think that is?
Well, you know, I think maybe the world sees us as something they can actually spiritually be enlightened to, yeah?
Yeah, or maybe it's the orgy houses.
Sometimes, when foreign dignitaries come to visit us, they're actually quite skeptical, actually. So we take them on a visit to the Donga district and show them what like a progressive, enlightened society looks like, yeah.
Shit of bull. Svenland is like woman who thinks she make best cake in village hot baking contest. And then when she slice it open, of cum.
That's just really gross, actually.
Svenland is a teeny tiny country. With population smaller than number of people, Peter Clemens is sex with his teeny tiny penis.
It's not all about size, actually.
Yes, that's what Peter Clemens always claimed.
I'm talking about population size.
And I'm talking about Peter Clemens' teeny...
Fuck off, Ivan!
Oh, Prime Minister, please.
It's so easy to sit on your pile of money and gloat. In it, you're a shite fucking god-awful golfer. And quite frankly, as my old man used to say, you're a bit cunt.
Prime Minister, please.
Is cunt.
Minister Vodovich, please.
You're a fucking starving, pal.
We will see how well fed your people are when the sanctions start to bite. You think your man like big, scary wolf person terrorizing village, when actually a pathetic goose person searching puddle for tiny dropped-off penis.
Why are you so obsessed about all cocks, mate?
In Svenland, we believe like the size of your penis isn't as important as the love it contains.
Fuck off, yeah.
Okay, if everybody could just calm down.
You're so smug on golf course. Like man who fuck pig and somehow give her birth to beautiful lady girl. But now you start to see, yes? The people never happy. It's never enough.
It's certainly true that Advance's popularity...
Fucking Wayne, yeah! This bollocks again. Shall we? Actually, you know... Nah, fuck this. I'm done with this.
Prime Minister, please don't storm out.
No! I have had enough of you, Mr. Jeremy Donaldson, and your snide aside. You think you could make a better job of things, do ya? That fucking easy, let me tell ya. You is a fucking disgrace. You insinuate and edit against us and pick your headlines so people don't trust us. The sooner you roaring monsters are taken into public ownership, the happier everyone in this country will be.
Well, we've not got long until the adverts, so...
I'm sorry for the outburst, Miss Wolfe. Julia thinks very highly of you, and I know you're not the one making the editorial decisions.
Do any of you have anything you wish to add about the sanctions?
My work here is done. I like man who happy he lie down with fatty, drunk, easy girl from village inn, who discover in morning he wake up next to beautiful news reporter lady.
You know, I think it would be a terrible shame, yeah, if the people of your country were to suffer because of teenage grudges and personal rivalries, yeah.
Thank you. Prime Minister?
This country, this wonderful, civilized, creative, inventive country, we're not scared of these sanctions. There's no wolves at our door, only the best of people striving to help out. So no, Ivan, we're not afraid. In fact, I doubt we'll lose a wink of sleep because we're strong and we're well resourced. And we don't back down to bullies.
And on that note, we have to wrap up.
Ministers, Prime Minister, thank you for joining us.
We'll be back after these messages.
Hyperbolic?
Correct. It's a leap year. Catch the egg. Name that fish. Keep the bucket. Wait, is that? Yes, it's the toy noise. Oh, you know what that means. Put on the shame hat. And that's right. We win your kids. Sorry, they're ours now. Forget those tired old board games. The sports board game is the only game your family is going to want to play.
Welcome back, I'm Megan Wolf. Later, we have an exclusive first look at a theatrical sensation everyone's going to be talking about. But first, it's time to go over to the culture spot with lovely old Jeremy Donaldson, who's joined by a very special guest. Jeremy.
Thanks, Megan. I have the honour and privilege of being joined by hip-hop royalty. He's been called the son of the streets and the father of truth. Not sure how that works, but whatever. Let's welcome Jesus!
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, it's a real honour to be here on your show, The News. You know, as a kid on the streets, I used to watch you through a window of the shop, so to be here right now is crazy.
You've had quite the journey to be here today. Can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I try not to, well, you know, the past is the past, and I don't like to dwell on it.
I understand.
But yeah, man, the streets is all I remember. Like, my mother donated me to a charity shop soon after I was born. Elderly lady took pity on me. You know, she let me sleep on a pile of crime fiction until I taught myself how to walk.
Wow, that's quite the childhood.
And she died tragically, right there in my arms, man. You know, I remember a tear falling as she laid there next to the used homeware. And in that moment, I became a child of the streets. I was just 18 months old.
What a tale. What a tale. You're known for your direct and honest lyrics. Was your style informed by your troubled past?
Oh, like I said, I try not to talk about it. It's just too hard.
Of course.
But my first album is about the story of the first 4 times I stole, so I wouldn't starve. A small group of infants came to see me as their de facto leader. They call me Mr. Cheese Slice. Anyway, we were like a family.
So it would seem. Recently, you've been quite outspoken about the government.
Yeah, government. Advance. Peter Clement.
What is it that you object to so vehemently?
Well, you know, they stole from us. They're taking our money and spending it, man.
Redistributing it. Actually, homelessness has been all but eliminated in the last couple of months.
So?
Surely that's a cause close to your heart?
Yeah. Nah, of course, man. Very much so. I just mean, like, why do I have to pay for it, you know?
You don't. People have been rehoused on property seized from the historically wealthy. And that couldn't have been you, could it?
Look, yeah. I worked hard to be here. I built this from nothing, and I deserve to be rewarded for that.
Would you say you worked harder than, say, a farmer or a care worker?
I don't know. But if people are taking something from my music, choose to value it, buy it, who's to say I don't? And no one can take that away from me.
Not even to help, say, vulnerable children? Mr. Cheese Slice?
What is it you're trying to say?
I just don't understand where you've placed yourself politically. I mean, is it ideological or is it tactical?
Well, it's more of a
Or maybe it's hereditary.
Stop trying to tie me in knots with your words, Jeremy. I let the music speak for itself. And the people agree with me.
Well, that remains to be seen. But you have given me a very easy segue out of a conversation that I promise you was much more painful for me than it was for you. So here he is with his hit song, Mrs. Ludlow's Tears.
Oh no, I'm going to do something a little different. It's a new single I've been working on.
Oh, so this is unapproved, is it?
Yeah, you love it.
Excellent. Don't worry, we've got a state-of-the-art censorship system. What's the worst that could happen? So here he is with a new song. Aren't we lucky? It's Jesus!
First, you're gonna pay up. You're gonna pay back.
Well, we're all different races from many different places. At any given moment, only one could be the greatest. So you can feel elation from your participation. Still two leaders in this nation. Now we're getting sanctioned, talking about expansion. Why does Julius require a massive man? Fuck all your schemes. I don't need your freaky team, and I don't need your help to achieve my dreams. So don't make a fuss when you find you're one of us. Yeah, every single one of you's a bit Jesus. And you can call me crazy, cause no one ever pays me. But I won't waste a lifetime being lazy. I may be inventive, my taste may be expensive, but why would I get out of bed with no fucking incentive? Although it's contravention of your obvious intention, I like to eat a little of the fruits in my invention. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. The best of the praise, of the crest of the wave, cause we're only equal people when we're mother slave. Take this fact, gonna stain it red, into Peter Clemens. Cause he's fit as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. It's time to stone a car for. So this is for the snub ones, the push and the shove ones, the folks that feel the burden of fucking loved ones. Ones who had plenty of fucking Bentley, the ones who now finding out their bank accounts are empty. The ones of aspiration who had to flee a nation. The ones who built a business out of dreams of perspiration. There's all sorts of people, the good and the evil. It only takes a glance to see we're not all equal. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. And the best of the praise, of the crest of the ways, cause we're only equal when we're motherfuckers. Gonna take this fact, gonna stay here red, gonna snap. Cause he's fit, got a job he's unfit for. Time to stone a puzzle with a pitchfork. Get out of your seats, get your in the streets, set a fire in the building, let him feel. Take your hate to go getters, your squilling bed getters, and burn them on the pyres of a letters. Gonna take his facts, gonna stain it red, gonna slam it into Peter head, cause he's fake as shit, the job he's unfit for. Time to stone a car with a motherfucking fork. Chase that dream, you don't need a man advances, the answers aren't as harmless as it seems. The corrupt, they get to destruct.
Jesus there with his new song. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. I'm sorry. I may not agree with you, but I'd just like to offer you an apology. I've just been told that there was some kind of issue upstairs and an attempt was made to censor some of your lyrics.
What? Are you joking?
I'd just like to say to you and everyone at home that this was a mistake.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe this.
Here at the National Nightly News, we pride ourselves on remaining neutral, unbiased, and independent of any outside interference. You have my word. We will never censor ideas. Back to you, Megan.
Well, a bit of dangerous language there, sorry about that. Well, thank you to little Jeremy Donaldson for providing our culture spot. Coming up, we'll be speaking to a couple of familiar faces about their upcoming dramatic outing. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, it's Crazy Neil here. I'm the druid that's really fluid because I've got a solstice with a mostness. So come on down to Crazy Neil's for a crazy midsummer deal. Come down and buy some patio furniture, some garden furniture, patio furniture with some garden furniture next to it on the garden next to the patio. We've got garden furniture that looks like a cello, garden furniture that looks like a car, garden furniture that looks like garden furniture. Come on down for a crazy midsummer deal. We've got all sorts of stuff in the garden. We got fish, we got flowers, we've got dishes, we've got sacks, we've got garden plants, we've got garden ponds, we've got fronds. If you want an elephant, you can take it away in a wheelbarrow. You want it, we've got it. We've got bird baths, we got duck baths, we've got fire pits, we've got a whole mess of crazy frogs with water coming out of their mouths. This is a crazy deal from a crazy midsummer deal. Gnome from gnome, home from home. We got more than 7 gnomes, because we've got men with trombones. We've got reclining giants. We've got crazy garden gnomes with glasses. What's all that about? If you've got a loved one and you want them buried in your back garden, come on down to Crazy Deal, because we've got a headstone for you. And guess what? It's 50% off engraving. I'm not even making a profit. I'm making a loss. Get on out to the Crazy Neil Deal Summer Deal Show. Yeah!
Welcome back, and no, you're not mistaken. Sitting across from us are some very familiar faces.
You really are too kind, Megan. It was only a yogurt commercial, but I'm still proud of it.
Here to talk about his new show, we're joined by National Treasure Tommy Harris, the National Theatre's Philippa Raven, and National Deficit Jeff Algebra.
It's so lovely to have you all. Tommy, would you like to tell us about the show?
You know what? I'd bloody love to. It's about me. It's about my life.
And where did the idea come from?
So, right, picture this. Their legs akimbo, mid-session, sweat is pouring out of me like an immense hog. And then Cindy comes in, she says, Pete's on the phone.
That's Peter Clement, the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Pete's actually a really good mate of mine.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, no, he comes to training sometimes. He's actually a pretty good goal sweeper. Anyway, so, Pete, he says, Toby, he thinks my name's Toby, see? He says, how would you like to spread your message of team spirit and cooperation across this fractured nation? How would you like to really make a difference in these desperate times?
What did you say?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, Jeff, the question on everyone's lips is, what in God's name are you doing here?
Well, after the success of my debut work and all the people that I've touched, I knew that I had a career in theatre. Yeah? I've always been an admirer of Tommy from afar. So when my manager phoned and said that I'd been offered the gig as director, I was ecstatic. I whipped my trousers off and got straight to work.
Why did you do that?
I do all my best work with my trousers off.
Yeah, I've been told that too.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Right, Tommy, sorry, would you just give us a sense of what the show is actually about?
It's about how hard it's been for me and some of the struggles that I've faced. It's like really getting to the heart of how tough it is to be me. I call it Tommy Harris, Jesus, that was hard.
It's catchy. We actually have some clips of the process of the show. Would you mind telling us what's going on here?
Yeah, so the show is built around 2 things that are very important to me. It mixes scenes from my life as well as epic fantasy retellings of scenes from my life.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
I'm sorry, son. But you're an embarrassment.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
Back, demon! Back to the hells!
Wow. Philippa, what's it been like co-starring with Tommy Harris?
I've always dreamed of treading the boards at medium-scale regional theatres, Megan. And for once, this show really gives me something to sink my teeth into.
What's different about this show, then?
Tommy, Mr. Harris's show really lets me show my tremendous range as an actor. I've always suffered from typecasting, forced to play the same tired characters in every god-awful yogurt advert or godforsaken soap opera or, God forbid, a pantomime. But, you know, this show has really let me just go there.
Jeff, the viewers at home will be dying to know exactly what is it that you bring to the show?
Oh, good question. I think these guys would agree with me when I say that it's my steady hand on the tiller, my arm round the shoulder approach that's really brought the production from strength to strength.
Absolutely right. Jeff's contributions are immeasurable. He was our rock.
Can you give us a sneak peek of anything else that might be in the show?
Yeah, all sorts, yeah.
We've got lots of exclusive first-hand experiences of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
And some epic fantasy retellings of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
You'll never take the sacred pass!
And am I right in saying this was officially commissioned by the government?
Yeah, all paid for by the taxpayer, which, you know, to be honest, was actually a lifesaver, really.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that without Advance's support, we'd have had to cut the finale. Yeah.
Which, frankly, would have been a travesty.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ!
Goodness, and you do this every night?
Absolutely. It's a metaphor.
For what?
Death.
And the public are footing the bill, are they?
Too bloody right they are. Between the cost of my tour bus and the dry cleaning of my ties, I'm barely scraping a profit here.
Amazing. And where can the folks at home come and see this for themselves?
We're performing all over the nation.
And people can see it for absolutely free, all courtesy of Advance. Isn't that incredible, Jeremy?
Yes, it's unbelievable, Megan.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. Next time we see you, no doubt you'll have taken our jobs.
Yeah.
That's all we have time for tonight. Join us tomorrow when I'll be interviewing the world's most attractive horse. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. And from all of us here, have a peaceful night. Hi, I'm Sophia Rimington, CEO of Rimington's Fist, and I'm so excited to be able to tell you about our newest product. Everybody loves flowers. After all, from holding your house up to keeping your bills down, there really seems to be no limit to their uses. But there is a problem.
Remington's Fist, Remington.
Hey, Brad, I brought you some new flowers. Hey, what's up? You seem sad, Brad.
You know I love working with flowers, Janet, but sometimes they can be a bit fiddly to get in place.
Oh, that sounds bad, Brad. There has to be a better way.
And now there is. This bad boy is the Flawedmaster 5000. Don't worry, the safety catch is on. Otherwise, it could quite literally take out a rib. Just point it at the target, set the 15 dials and pull the trigger, and it'll punch a flard right through the goddamn wall. So, whether you're engineering a rescue craft, a bit of home improvement, or just helping your kids out with their homework, if you can't get by without flards, you need the Flawedmaster 5000. Thank goodness it's available in all reputable stores.